Welcome, lighting team, grips, electrics, and DP. It's time to light our set. Before we go, we have to make a plan. We're going to plan the work and then work the plan. In the lighting department, we use an overhead light plot to do that. We're going to start with one of the 4 looks that we're going to create, and this one's called Cameo. This is our light plot, but before we start that, let me go through what all of this means. I do an icon for where the camera position is going to go. In our case, our camera's right here, and I'm going to write more information about it. It's going to be eye height at 70 millimeter on our talent. That's the icon for the talent. There's his little nose facing the camera. Lights are depicted by little squares with these representing the barn doors. So we're going to show you where the key light and the fill light and the backlight are for this setup. A flag or a net, if we put diffusion, or a flag or a net, we're going to put a little X, and then a straight line might mean a flag. I might do diffusion if I'm going to use a silk or something else, if we're going to change the quality of the light. If we're going to do a color, I might indicate what color I'm going to do that for. So that would be diffusion. I might put red gel, any information that's going to help everybody on my team get what they want done. So let's take a look at our first lighting look, and that is going to be Cameo. Cameo is when the talent is lit, but the background is dark. We still have to have a backlight on them to separate them from the background. Cameo comes from a type of jewelry that the whalers would make for their wives and sweethearts in the whaling industry. They would take ivory and carve it out in the profile of their loved one, and then they would take squid ink and they would paint the background of it so that the face popped out and the back looked black. So that is from Cameo, where that comes from. So to do this Cameo look, we're going to take our camera at eye height 70 millimeter. Hey, we've decided we want to shoot at an f5.3 and 0 dB. We're going to set our camera to do that. Our key light is going to be a 650 watt open face light, but we're going to have more of a romantic look for this one. So we're going to put diffusion. We're going to put a silk on a stand in front of that. It's going to wrap around 3/4 of the way around Mark on this one. We're still going to have the table. He's sitting in the chair. We have the lamp. We may not see the lamp in this shot because our storyboard that I took a look at that you haven't seen, and I discussed with my director of photography, it's just a bus shot, so we may not even see that light in the shot, and we're not going to worry about that. Our fill decision is going to be not a light. We're going to use another one of the attributes of lighting in the direction part of it. We're going to bounce a light. We're going to take the light coming off the key light, we're going to bounce it and lightly fill in the shadows created by that key light. We are going to definitely use a little bit of a separator light. Remember, we call the separator light or the rim light or the back light in order to make that happen. So you ready to go? I know what I'm going to be doing. Let's do it. You're going to look great, Mark. Okay, here is our Cameo setup. We left the lights on just for a little bit, just so we can see what we're doing while I explain what the lighting is all about. We got a key light, 650 hard specular light that we want to make wrap around Mark a little bit. Still going to be bright, because don't really confuse quality of light, whether it's hard or soft, with intensity of light. It's still a very bright key light. So that's key left coming in and hitting him. The fill light is not a light. It's a card. We took it on a quacker. That's a certain type of clamp that we have. We've grabbed that. We're catching the light and bouncing it onto Mark. That is another property of one of the directions of light, that the angle of incident equals the angle of reflectance. So you just kind of move that card around till you get it. Intensity, I either move it forward or backward. I happen to want to have sort of a high key sort of contrast. I wanted to have a little bit of shadow, but I wanted to have that bright key that you would notice. We are separating him from this background with a light that's going to come and just hit his rim. Right now his background is really bright, but remember, Cameo is dark background with the person lit. So we have some flags blocking off our key light so it's not going to spill onto the back. Let's go take a look at the result. There you go. So there's the Cameo lighting. Our key's a little bit soft, so any shadow created by Mark with his beverage, we have the light pretty high up so it doesn't cross his face too much. We have a little bit of a fill wrapping around the right cheekbone and a backlight rimming the edge of his shoulders and pulling him away from that background. Cameo lighting.